I think you always go through that internal struggle of trying to create art that's going to be that's going to create some kind of financial income for you, but at the same time, you just do your thing and you don't give a fuck. Yeah, so I'm a local Montrealer, born and raised in the city. 46 years old. Grew up loving art. Growing up in the Indian culture, you have a certain way of a certain way of doing things, and then trying to fit into culture in the West was a little different. You always had those two worlds kind of colliding and competing for I guess domination in your mind. Grew up, coming to my dad's business. My dad started this business over 40 years ago. And originally it was a t-shirt shop. My dad used to sell rock t-shirts, heavy metal t-shirts. And we started doing tattoos and piercings here in the 90s. And eventually I decided that I wanted to start doing tattoos as well. So I taught myself how to tattoo. I remember taking a lot of trips with my dad when I was a kid, and he would go to New York just to go pick up different gear from Canal Street and whatnot. And I remember just seeing the graffiti, the bright colors, the loud, just the beauty of graffiti. And it kind of impacted what I was into growing up, and then kind of got into comics, more graphic art, and then eventually tattooing. My dad kind of just, I guess, stumbled into the business. He didn't really have a love for t-shirts. He was an immigrant businessman that came into the country with literally $200 in his pocket, and did what he had to do to put food on the table for his family.
You've been the best at times. You walk me through my darkest days. What must have turned around?
A lot of tattoo artists actually come from the graffiti background. It's kind of interconnected in a weird way. Graffiti is a weird culture. It's like a subculture within a subculture. And it was amazing. It gave me that sense of camaraderie, brotherhood, with a lot of my buddies growing up, where we would, look for ways to just do what we wanted to do. Well, I definitely feel like Montreal's my city, but with that being said, I've always thought about expanding the business. I'm here for now, so I'm kind of concentrating on what I'm doing right now. But no, definitely, I feel what you're saying. It's so vibrant compared to any other Canadian city when it comes to art. We have such a diverse, music scene, visual art scene. It's definitely an artistic city. Obviously, dealing with the city or even government sometimes isn't the easiest thing for an Anglophone. A lot of the services and a lot of, just what you have to deal with the people it's usually in French. Mind you, I do speak French, parle français vraiment bien. I'm actually trilingual. I speak Punjabi as well. I've met a lot of ignorant people in this industry. I've met a lot of ignorant people just in general. And I never let them get me down. I mean, you're gonna meet them in any industry. You're gonna meet them anywhere you are. You just gotta remember that you have a dream, you have a goal, and nothing's gonna stop you at the end of the day. If I were to say there are two things that my dad taught me, A, hard work, and two, just know how to pay your bills. That's one thing that tattooing has taught me. It's literally be in the moment when you're doing what you're doing. And I'm sure you feel that way too when you're in that flow of artistic expression. Nothing else in the world matters. You're just literally in the moment doing what you love. Yeah, it was a struggle in the beginning to get the business rolling. But I always had this level of, okay, I know how to pay my bills. I know how to allocate money to things that are important. And I just went from there. And I think it's all interconnected in a weird way where you have, like I said, culture experiences that kind of taint your perspective on what you want to express artistically. I'm sure you've felt that as well. And I know I have definitely, I'm really inspired by a lot of Indian art, Is it a part of my art? Absolutely. But that's the great thing about tattooing. It's like it's progressed so much in the last little while where like you have all these little elements that like you can take and create your own twist. I've definitely always had that rebel spirit, being the black sheep of my family. You know, just a little story. You know, my brothers were really growing up really heavy into the Punjabi culture. They were into the whole Bhangra music and whatnot. My family's from India, we're Punjabi, so Punjab being a province in India has a strong cultural ties to music and dancing. I never really felt it because I was born here, so growing up in Canada, Montreal, I was into rock music growing up as a kid. So I was always kind of like the black sheep in the family, playing guitar, growing up, listening to different music. My brothers would always make fun of me and be like, dude, you're not like us. What's up with you? You know what I mean? So I'd always hear it from my brothers. I'd always hear it from different friends. But that kind of just galvanized me and made me a stronger individual in having my own opinion about certain things. Yeah, and I always felt like I didn't want to be that stereotype. Just that stereotype of what people perceived, you know, a Punjabi guy to be. I never wanted to be that. So I guess just having that mindset kind of always made me seek different kinds of, you know, hobbies, things that I would be interested in. You know, it takes years to build something really good in life. And again, even with tattoos, you know, you have sessions where you can do an hour, 2 hours. Yeah, great. You can create like a little like piece that's really nice. The client will feel it, you'll like it. But then I've done pieces where it's taken like, you know, 10, 15 hours and you can create something really beautiful with the amount of time that you have. So, you know, if there's one thing that tattooing has taught me about life is put the work in. And, you know, Rome wasn't built overnight, like they say, right? It's funny that you say that because we kind of joke between like each other and we're always like, we always get that one customer who's always like throwing all their personal shit on you and you just gotta take it. You're just sitting there doing your job and you're absorbing all this energy from this client. I mean, mind you, some of it's positive, some of it's negative, but I think that's one of the most fun things about the job. I feel like I have such a good rapport with a lot of my clients where I do feel like I'm a therapist at certain times where I'm just like, okay, yo, how's your day? How you doing? What's going on? Tell me about your relationship. And, you know, at the end of the day, it does get kind of heavy. And, but yeah, no, it's definitely a really fun and unique part of the job. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I tell my daughter this every day. Having the right attitude in life is so important because, you know, you can literally have all the talent in the world and then have a shitty attitude and that's not going to take you far. Because I'm the kind of person that I had my dad tell me, hey, son, don't do this, don't do that, you know, do this. So I've heard a lot of these lessons, but I didn't take them to heart. I actually had to make the mistake of making them. Biggest misconception about me would probably be, I don't know, that's a good question. What is the biggest misconception about me? That I'm unfriendly, that I'm probably not a friendly person. I think there's a certain sense of beauty in like isolation and living a very simple yet meaningful life, cut off from the craziness of the modern day world, where you can just have yourself connected to, you know, a garden, a partner, just life itself, and be away from all this noise. Ain't no question if I want it, I need it.